All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us on another fun-filled edition of the Real Estate Backstory. My name is Alan Richard. I'm the managing broker here at Maximum Realty and Realtor Partners.
My name is Ming Richardson. I'm the compliance broker here for Maximum Realty and Realtor Partners.
And this is our weekly edition of the Real Estate Backstory, where we try and expose the soft underbelly of the real estate world here in the Atlanta market. So we appreciate you joining us. We do this every Monday morning at 9 a.m. And we're just going to kind of jump right in today. We do have some guests that will be joining us a little bit later on, but we're going to jump in and get to the data, get to the information. And so we kind of wanted to start off, this is definitely a seller's market that we're in, and it kind of runs across the gamut as far as the different price points, the whole 9 yards. We're seeing a huge seller's market in every single price point right now, and so we kind of want to talk a little bit about what we're going through and kind of what we're seeing out there in the marketplace. So first thing is, how are our buyers competing in a highly competitive housing market? And so first I want to talk about some of the things that we're seeing. And so first of all the houses, or the average on a home being sold right now, is that it has right at 5 offers per house. And you can see that is double or triple what our historical norms. Our historical norm is 2.1. And so right now we're at 5. So we're about 250% up on the number of offers that is going into the average household.
And that is just from March 2021.
Yeah, that's first quarter 2021 kind of thing. And so this is actually the number of offers on an existing home sold from January through March. So basically the first quarter of this year. Here in Georgia, that average is 6 offers per house. Now we all know that we're seeing some houses, one of our folks, they listed a house last week, 78 offers, 78 showings and like 44 offers, the vast majority of those over asking price. So we're seeing that kind of running across the board, and you can see that the data really shows that the average is 6. So the chance of you being a single offer on a house right now is
very minimal,
very, very low, right?
Unless you price a property to where the market does not perceive it as a value.
Yep. Now, also the rising share of cash buyers is now at 23%. For March, it was at 23%. So for the first quarter, it's at 21.3. But this shows that cash buyers, and these are, we're not just talking iBuyers here kind of thing, but cash buyers are accounting for almost 25% of our market. And this is one of those issues that where we see, there's a lot of mainly buyers agents that are really lamenting and having a very difficult time with FHA and VA loans.
Correct.
And a lot of buyers agents are getting frustrated, very angry about, our offers are not being accepted. They're kind of being dismissed by listing agents sometimes. But the other side of the coin is when nearly 1 out of 4 of your offers are cash. That's always going to be a really, really tough challenge. The other thing is that of all the mortgages out there, 60% of them are conventional, over 60%.
A lot of people have worked on their credit. And last year, honestly, a lot of buyers were hesitant in purchasing. So you are not only competing with this season buyers, but also last year's buyer as well. And a listing agent, just FYI, I have agents that are taking conventional loan, thinking the conventional appraisers are better. That is not always the case. It depends on who the lender is. Because if you have a lender that's out of town that just basically go to a appraisal pool, and if the appraiser does not know what the market is doing, I can tell you your appraisal will come back low, regardless what type of financing you have. And conventional loan, I have seen bait and switch lately, a lot of them. Agent will get their client into a conventional loan in the midst of the process, which FHA. So just FYI, I don't believe the lender can do that without consent of the
Of the
seller,
seller. Yep.
because the seller is counting on a conventional loan appraiser. And so when FHA comes back, guess what? That appraisal is locked in for 6 months.
Yep. And it is one of the terms that the seller can decide on right there. So, um, now what percentage of our buyers right now are putting at least 20% down? Half. Almost
48%.
half of all buyers are putting almost 20% down. Now, this is another item to note, especially for conventional loans right now. In the past, we saw a lot of folks that got in with a low, I mean, with a low down payment, or not low down
Very
payment,
minimum
but
payment.
but they would start off with an FHA loan. But what happens if you do that now? Interest rates are going up. We are still barely under 3% right now, but they are going up. And so if you get an FHA loan, you can't ever get rid of mortgage insurance. And so many of our buyers right now have over 20% to put down on their home. Plus, that makes the offers look that much stronger. How much money do our buyers need in order to offer a 10% down payment and a 3% closing costs on a typical home? And that is something that in this market right here, the buyers need to be prepared to bring that 3% to closing costs. I mean, in just
Yeah,
in less than a year, that's really changed where
Mhm.
your buyers could ask for closing costs. If your buyers ask for closing costs on the majority of homes, they're going to lose the deal. We're just not seeing that. And so here in Georgia, the average is you got to have $39,000 for the average home sold, and that accounts for basically 13% of the median price point for the state of Georgia is really
Mhm.
what that works out to be. That's a good number to kind of reference out there for your buyers looking for what do I need to have saved up to buy the average home in Georgia. Well, if you want a 10% down payment, you need to have, and you want to account for that closing cost, you need to have around 40 grand. So, what are the reasons why our buyers are not making an offer on the property? So the first and foremost, the biggest lion's share of that is that there's already multiple offers on a property.
Mhm.
One thing that we have to explain to our buyers right now is you are not going to be the only offer on a property. Those days are not here. The time of being able, well, let's just try this out. Why don't you throw this offer here at it? I mean, right now we got open houses with 50, 60 people in it at a time. The housing market really is kind of on fire at the moment. And so we have to prepare our buyers for what they're going into, kind of thing. So, like I said, the number one reason why clients don't make an offer on the property is, the first thing is that there's competition. There's already a ton of offers on the property. Second one is price too high, and I really can't knock that one at all. If the
Right.
price, if it's out of your budget, it's just out of your budget, kind of thing.
And
Yeah.
right now, just so you know, we're having a lot of appraisal issues. So if your buyer do not have cash to make up the difference or do what we call guarantee appraisal, you are not going to be picked for selection.
Yep. So what is the number one reason why the buyer's offer was rejected, or what are the top reasons? Because that's a lot of times what we're seeing is especially for buyer's agents, you just don't get a lot of feedback a lot of times, and we can't necessarily fault the listing agents every time. When you have 50 offers, you just
Hmm.
don't have the ability to go back on 50 different clients and say why they didn't get the offer, kind of, or
Well, not only that, the listing agent is not supposed to disclose what they actually
yeah.
finally accepted at, because that their fiduciary duties is to the seller, not to your buyer.
Yeah. But so that being said, still the number one reason why the buyer's offer was rejected was at 34% was that it was a lower offer.
Hmm.
You'll notice that, other cash buyers is the second one, non-contingent offers with bigger down payment. Um, on this list, what you don't see is FHA or VA. You see that a lot of times, what looks on our end is that a lot of times our FHA and our VA buyers are still looking for a deal and think that they don't have to go over asking price.
Right.
And so we're seeing where at the end of the day, it really comes down to a lower offer price. We find that a lot of our buyers are still going to go in I mean, I'm sorry, a lot of our sellers are still going to go with the best deal, regardless of financing in the majority of cases. I can't say that that's every single time, but it really comes down to being a low offer. And this is also brings up that, kind of a challenge for agents, because there's a lot of agents that I hear agents all the time saying, well, is this market, is that house worth it?
Mm-hmm.
you know um am I hurting my clients? And I think that you're hurting your clients by not letting them get in a house right now. We are not in a bubble. We have, and I'll show you more data in a minute. There's way more people
Demands.
than there are
Supplies.
houses out there. And so this is not going to turn around and drop. That's not what we're looking at, kind of thing. So for our sellers, what does it take for our sellers to list and sell their homes? And so the number one issue right now for our sellers in order to put their home on the market is, where am I going? I'm going to be homeless if I do that. And so that's the number one issue. And so what that really means for us is we have to make our sellers a buyer first. There's just no way around it. 60% of our sellers would sell if they had a place to go. So we've got to keep pushing that and help them find that. Now, here's some other interesting data for the second and third reasons I found really, really interesting for our sellers. 16% said they would move if they knew their current home would sell for asking price or top market price. I don't know a house that's not selling for asking or top market price right now.
Well, it depends, because some sellers expect way above what the market will hold.
That's true, but generally speaking, right now, I mean, we're at like 11% price increases over prior year, and that will level out as we start getting
since the beginning of this
right
year.
And so right now, is it a great time to sell their price? I mean, sell the home and probably get at or above that asking price? Yes, right now, 14%, almost 15%. So they would sell if they could get an offer without having to do any work on their home. And we're seeing that buyers right now will do that. The buyers want houses,
and buyers want to go in there and paint and put their own carpet in.
Yep. We're seeing where, that is, whereas a year or so, I'd say we still want to make these repairs to the property. Right now, getting it on the market is the most important thing. There are buyers that are looking for that product out there. And then another 9% said they'd move if they could have a quick closing process. And my goodness, there are hundreds of ways that you can have a quick closing process. Yes, you can sell to iBuyers as well, but there's also, like you said, 25% of our offers right now are cash, a quarter of them. So if it's cash, there's a chance it can also be a really quick sale. So understand that there is still some opportunities for us to be approaching and appealing to our sellers out there. Even though we have housing shortages right now, our contract signings are going up. Mm-hmm. And so, we're 23% on a year-over-year gain, which is phenomenal. Now, that would normally not be a realistic number, but we know what happened last year. Okay. So being 25% over last year is not that great, but we are continuing to increase. We're up 2% over last month, kind of thing.
So with the vaccine going out, a lot of people are feeling more confident, even though there are some home requesting masks, gloves, and booties when you enter. Yep. So respect their sellers' wishes.
Our inventory is continuing to be extremely tight right now. Here in the South, our average listing counts is down 60% from last year. It's down, and year over year, we're down about 8%, and we're 18 shorter days on the market than we were at this time last year. Now, who's fueling this? Millennials are fueling this, and for a great reason. Okay, we're really, really glad that our millennials are here, but the millennials are now making up a bigger and bigger piece of the housing pie. Right now, millennials are making up over half of all home purchases. And you may say, well, gosh, why is that, Al? Well, allow me to show you.
And this is why Alan said we're not in a bubble, simply because the supply and demand. And yep. Let you explain.
So if you look at the slide on this screen right here, you can see where the first time demand peak, as well as the median age of all the Americans are, kind of thing. And so you can see that, right now, the average median age for the largest buying segment is between 28 and 31. Now, here enters the other issue in that the first-time home buyer age is 33. The average first-time home buyer age is 33. So over the next 4 years, the largest group of Americans is moving into first-time home buyer range over the next 4 years. That's not going to change. We're not just suddenly going to lose the largest population center that we have in the United States. Is not suddenly going to be like, you know what, we just don't want a house, right? So these folks are moving into first-time buyer age, and it's the largest segment of Americans out there right now. So this is going to continue to fuel us and drive us moving forward, kind of, for the next couple of years at least, kind of thing. You can see.
And yeah, and it's just a simple math, supply and demand, and with material, and just think about it for a little bit. With material right now being hard to get, even though the builders may have their lots, guess what? They're kind of starting to feel a little slowdown simply because there's no material to build those products, some of them.
And we'll go over some of that. We do have some new information on the builders out there. So the Fed met last week and left the policy, the Fed policy exactly the way it is, which is going to continue to keep mortgage rates low. And so we ended up with a second week with mortgage rates under 3%, 2.98. Okay, it's still under 3, not by much, but it's enough to say that it is under 3 kind of thing. Part of that is being fueled by we've got some of the highest savings ever for our spring market right now. Our savings is up. The personal savings has increased to 21%, which is huge. It's the second highest recorded. Yeah,
saving in how long?
I think
Eons.
ever. Yeah. So Americans, for a lot of, COVID has been very difficult for several of for especially for renters, but for a lot of our buyers, if you could afford to buy before the pandemic, you can probably even more so afford to buy during or after the pandemic. So on that side of things, it has been very good. Now, Fannie and Freddie are coming out with a new program to help
the lower income borrowers.
Well, not borrowers, but yes, borrowers, but this is for refis. Over the past several years, we've been going through a refi boom, and especially the past year, there's been a massive refi boom, except for folks who were in the lower income brackets. The folks in the lower income brackets have missed out on a lot of these really low mortgage rates and on being able to refinance their properties. And so this whole push is to help those who are in lower income to be able to refinance their home and see some of these great refinance rates that's really going on. I know overall on the regular housing market, because we are starting to see the interest rates starting to tick up, that refis on traditional have been dipping down a little bit, especially over the last couple of months.
Not only, it's not because it's dipping down, just so you know, a lot of mortgage company are required to take care of first-time home buyer versus refi, and even some of the mortgage company has basically charged a higher interest rate for refi at this point, just so they can help the
slow it all down.
Yeah. And also, just so you know, not a lot. This just came out last week. Probably, I want to say 70 to 75% of mortgage company right now are not doing second home purchases.
Wow.
So that just came through my lender, who told me, Jake House with Silverton Mortgage, said that they are no longer doing a second home mortgage at this point.
Interesting.
All right. Just because the first-time home buyer market.
Well, that's good. Now, on the economy front, jobless claims dropped to its lowest level yet. We're down to 553,000, which is really good. We need even less, kind of thing. GDP finished out the first quarter at 6.4%, which is phenomenal, especially if you look at so like this shows the last several years of our GDP, and so you can see what happened in the 4 quarters, this year, last year, kind of thing, and you can see what's kind of going forward. And so even if you look at quarter four of 20, as well as, quarter
First quarter
one,
of
you
this.
can see that we are markedly up over our historical trends. So that's a really great thing for us to be. And that's showing up in our consumer confidence, and consumer confidence is up 121 at 121.7 points, which is a really great place for us to be right now, kind of thing. Other information, homes with pools are selling
at premium.
big time. Prior to COVID, only about 2% of realtors polled said that a pool was a great selling feature, kind of thing. But now that is really, really different. Homes with pools on average are increasing at 63% better than homes without pools right now. So if you got a pool, or if you got a seller with a pool,
Yeah.
that means some money right now,
Yep.
kind of thing. So now is a great time if you're, if you got a
It
seller
is.
thinking about
Well,
selling with a
you gotta
pool,
be
that's a
careful.
nice feature. Look, people are paying for it right
I
now.
know people are paying for it, but will it appraise? That is the biggest question.
Yep.
Because you can ask anything you want in the world, but if it does not appraise, or the buyer doesn't have the cash difference to bring a closing, then it's no deal. So we had an incident where a buyer actually guaranteed 35,000 above um, appraisal price up to the sales price. So the sale price was increased about $45,000. And the justification for that particular buyer was, hey, if I had to put a pool, I was going to put a pool in that property, but because it came with it, I don't have to do it. I'm not putting out $60,000. So for the buyer is actually a saving.
Yeah.
So
all right, we got to get political, but we don't want to be political by this. And what I mean is, I'd like to talk about Biden's tax proposals and real estate, but I want to speak in a very nonpartisan way. I'm not going pro-Republican. I'm not going pro-Democrat. But I do think that we have to look at at which of Biden's tax policies and proposals are going to impact our industry, as well as our clients. And so I bring this up, but I want to make sure that I'm putting out there that I'm not bashing Biden.
It's not
And
it's this is
yeah.
not a party, but actually a proposal from the administration. So it doesn't matter which administration it is. This is about the proposal of the administration.
Yeah. And so, really, in as far as housing goes, Biden has two big tax proposals that can really impact our industry and what and how that moves forward. And so the first one is what's called this step up or cost basis for real estate when it's inherited. You'll hear the inheritance tax and things like that. And then also we Biden is calling for a stopping of the 1031 tax exchange. And under that tax exchange,
It's
owners
huge.
of investment property were able to take that property and then go and buy another like property, and then be able to defer those that capital gains for the future, kind of thing, is really where it
So
is.
instead of being taxed at the point of sale, basically that income is actually deferred because the sellers actually buy another property, which also stimulate the economy. And what it is that if you start initially with $100,000, let's say you gain 50,000 on the sale, so you will take the 150, invest the entire 150 in there. So therefore, there's no tax on the $50,000, but at the same time, it kind of fuels the economy in purchase powers and also just the whole.
Well, the other thing is that eliminating the tax 31 exchange could impact price. Property values. Right now, 12% of all real estate transactions involved a 1031 exchange. So we're talking about and when you're talking about 10%, 12% of the housing market in the United States, we're not talking about a little piece of the pie. That's a pretty significant section. At the same time, nearly half of 1031 exchanges are done by individuals. These are not 37 were through what's called S corps, but 47 were held by sole proprietors or individual investors, kind of thing. So this is not the big bad billionaires kind of thing that we're talking about. The other thing with the capital gains tax is that, especially for the and the impact that could really have, especially for our baby boomers and our silent generation. We know we have a lot of friends that bought their home 25, 30 years ago. And so if you bought your home 20 years ago, how much more is that worth today? Well, this
Well,
capital gains impact really has the potential to kind of hurt our silent generation and some of our baby boomers kind of thing. Simply because their home's worth a lot more than what it was when they first bought it, kind of thing.
example, Old Fourth Worth. If you bought a house back in yay days for 100 grand, Old Fourth Worth average is about $400,000 currently.
So yeah,
So you got a $300,000 profit. Typically, if you're single, you're exempt up to 250,000, but if you're married, it's $500,000. So a taxes on $300,000 is quite substantial. So that will take the money away from the boomers and others. So
yep. Now, again, we're not trying to be political, but I think that you've got to know what's going on in the housing market. And again, please don't think I'm
this
trying.
This is not a party.
This is so that you know what's going on.
Administration tax proposal.
Yep. All right. I want to get into the builders really quick. And so the National Association of Home Builders and NAHB, they released what are buyers looking for in this market today. So what are our must-haves and what are our desirables? The number one is a laundry room, not a laundry closet. Laundry room is a big deal for our buyers right now. Exterior lighting, that's something we're seeing a lot more in the industry right now.
Looks great.
Is it exterior lighting? We're seeing all new neighborhoods being lit up, and it really does look great.
It is a very soft light and it feels secure and warm.
Ceiling fans is kind of a no-brainer. They're very inexpensive to do, kind of thing. Energy Star windows.
Patios, outdoor living.
Yeah, outdoor living continues to be a really big deal. Walk-in pantries, with so many folks working from home, a walk-in pantry has moved. Since the pandemic, there's several of these items that have definitely moved up like front porch, patio, walk-in pantries, those kind of things have all really moved up on the list. So just wanted to share that with you. Now, here's another interesting stat on the builder side. 1 in 4 single family homes is new construction. Right now, new construction makes up 26% of all single family home sales in the United States.
Which is a record high. They never, ever reach that point. And with that being said, be careful with new construction contract. A lot of them have a clause where a builder can back out at the last minute or charge your client a fee due to material cost increase.
Well, yeah, we're seeing that all the builders are now adding in escalation clauses into their contracts. All the new contracts we're seeing all have escalation clauses. We really need to make sure that we're having that discussion with that builder, with that on-site agent and our buyers to say, this could be our, because they all state how much more they can increase, kind of thing. And you got to understand that this is not a number set in stone anymore, kind of thing.
And I do have to give kudos to D.R. Horton. They haven't done it yet, but I've seen a lot of your private individual, smaller builder are doing it and canceling the entire contract for the whole subdivision.
Now, overall here in Georgia, single family homes account for 23.6% of all sales, but and year over year, permits are up almost 40%. So new construction is crucial for us to push through right now.
Well, that and also to meet the demand of our millennials.
So new housing is more, right now, new housing shows up as being less expensive than resales. And that's not really true. Right now, the median price for a single family home for newly built was $330,000. However, the median price for existing single family home was $334,000. But what we're really seeing is that new construction homes are way more expensive than they were. But a lot of that is due to lumber prices. Okay. Lumber prices have not doubled. They have tripled over the past 12 months. So, when you see that it's very easy to go like those builders are just sticking it to folks, but understand that the costs really are, lumber is at $1,200 per board foot, up 250%. And, you know, that's just huge. But why have the lumber prices gone up? You can see on this graph right here, you know, what lumber prices have done. And so, you know, COVID was one of the big deals that impacted a lot of the mills shut down and then stayed shut down for a long time. And then even when they ramped up, they didn't ramp up to any kind of production that was going to meet demand.
Right.
And then at the same time, guess what happened to the housing market? Someone lit a match and it's on fire, kind of thing. And at the same time, so many folks are staying at home. So, you know, the DIY market has really blown itself up. And then at the same time, we have higher tariffs on Canadian lumber imports into the US. We really need that much more so to lighten up. All right. On the personal side, please welcome Adrienne McDaniel. She is our branch manager at our new Noonan location. So we are very glad to have Miss Adrienne with us. If you see her, give her a shout out. We have a couple of CE classes this week. On Thursday, Dana is teaching 2021 GAR contract reviews, GAR versus RE
form. So for those of you, even though you're realtors, I'm sure you're still getting RE forms that are being submitted. So understand the difference of the two forms is extremely important.
Yep.
And also there was a change on F510, which is where attorney holds the escrow. So if y'all leave the blank for the alternative, guess what? The buyer's brokerage will automatically become the default holder.
Yep. And then on Friday, we have an Appraiser's Guide to CMA, which is a really great class because even though we do CMAs, our CMAs have to match up with what an appraiser is going to appraise a home for.
Correct.
So right now, we are blessed to have a guest with us. So Raymond Hoffman with Reminder Media. Raymond, are you here?
I am here. I was
very good. Very good. So
hey, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us, kind of thing. I kind of threw your webpage up here for everybody to kind of see. I know that you wanted a few more minutes to talk than we had really at the beginning of the presentation. So I kind of wanted to bring you in at the end and be able to give you a little bit more time.
So I can do it in 5 and then leave the extra time for Q&A or, you know, whatever you guys are comfortable with.
All right, we're really good. So, you know, if you'd like, I'll be glad to let you share your screen. I'm not sure what you need.
I would love to.
All right. Well, let me stop
Not
sharing.
a problem. While that gets set up, I'll introduce myself to all the folks here and on Facebook Live checking us out. We work for Reminder Media. I've been here for about 7 years. Company's been up for about 18 years, helping realtors with relationship marketing. We talked a lot about how this is a buyer's market right now at the beginning of this meeting. And I think the most important thing to talk about when it comes to what we do is that it's really about driving listings and driving more transactions. Because my company is a relationship marketing company. We're really based on the idea that we want to keep you in touch with your A-list, right? Your top past clients, your top sphere of influence, the people in your network who will refer you business. Because one of the things that's true about being in this heavy of a listing market is you've sort of got to know about listings before your clients know about their listings, right? You have to know about those life events before they're happening because you know, and they might not necessarily know, that a promotion, a baby, a new marriage, a new opportunity, these are all things that lead to people taking that next step and starting the process of listing their homes. So the more you know about what's going on in the networks of your clients, the better of a chance you are to drive those listings before they're hopping on the Realtor.com or the Zillow and sort of doing the Google work. They're going to talk to their friends and say, who did you use, right? So that is where my sort of starting point is. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, show you guys a little bit about what it is we do. So what we do is we produce these soft touches. Also, if you don't believe me, here are some NAR stats. There's a lot of data this meeting, but just to throw it out there, 67% of sellers found their agent through a referral or a repeat transaction, according to our latest numbers from NAR. So if you're looking for more buyers, over half of them. If you're looking for more listings, 2/3 of them, right? If you're not sending anything out to your past clients right now, it's time to start doing that. So let's hop into what it is we actually produce. We do these soft touch pieces called the American Lifestyle Magazine, the Start Healthy Magazine, and most recently, Good to Be Home Magazine. All of these are completely generated by us, customizable 48-page physical hard copy magazines that we send out to your A-list in order to keep your name and your face top of mind. The goal here is to send something to them that's customized to you enough where it feels like a gift, where it feels like your piece, but enough is done for you where you're not spending a lot of time, energy, budget building something from the ground up. It's automated and it's easy. And we are focusing on the quality of the touch point as opposed to the quantity. That's why I work with agents all across the spectrum, from part-time and new agents to old vets, because our minimum order is only 50 magazines. We really focus on who are your top tier relationships. And even newer agents can put together a list, 25, 30, 35 people they want to touch. And that's really what we're aiming for, is making sure that you have that competitive edge. So let's hop into one of these samples. To give you a quick sense of it, you guys go 6 different places. You're right here on the front cover. You're on the front inside cover where we do a letter to your past clients that's customized down to the individual client level. So you'll see it's not dear valued customer, right? It's dear Bill and Judy. It's dear the individual person receiving it. On the right-hand side, you have a tearaway card. There's one in the front and one in the back. Those could be recipe cards like you see in all of our examples, but we also have like money saving tips, DIY tips, things like that. When you hop into the table of contents, obviously 5-minute presentation, I don't want to spend a ton of time sitting here on the articles, but to give you guys a sense of it, stuff for the home, right? Your clients are homeowners. Your clients want to be homeowners. This is the way that you stay connected to them, by focusing on the home. We have a little bit of real estate information in here, right? We're talking a little bit about why this time is important, how to increase your curb appeal, but we're not hitting them over the head with it. So if your clients are looking through something like this, they don't feel like they're being marketed to. And that's really the important piece of the puzzle. You have the back cover as well, inside and out, as well as another tearaway card. We used to put listings on the back. Market's too hot. We put just sold on the back now. But we also have a bunch of other templates as well, if you don't have a property that you'd like to showcase right there. At the end of the day, you get all the high visibility areas of the magazine. You have a bunch of different options and templates to choose between to make this more your own. Normally I would hop into it a little bit more detailed, but I want to give you guys just sort of the quick rundown of it. I'll send out samples as well via email. You can dig into it a little bit on your own. But the main thing that I kind of want to hit here is what we do really well is we hit this big gray area between a large scale, expensive touch point, like doing a large gift. Those things are great for closing gifts for every once in a while, or the holidays. But when it's the summer market right now, when you guys are getting hot, you guys have been hot for a couple of months, I shouldn't say getting. But when you're in that position, it's hard to find the time to do larger, more grandiose touches for your clients. But on the other end, if you fall into this trap of just doing your digital touches, of just doing your flyers and emails, all of which are important, I don't knock that stuff, but you have a tier of clients who will advocate for your business, who will refer to you to your friends and family. It's worth doing something for those people that's going to stick around a little bit. And that's really what we do that has given us this longevity in terms of real estate, is our shelf life. We stick around on average for about 3 to 4 weeks at a time inside of the home, making it past the trash can, onto the coffee table, onto the kitchen counter, so that when the business does come up organically, you have an item of value right there with your face on it. And there is a world of difference between somebody saying, you've got to work with my realtor, she was great, and that's it, and saying, you've got to work with my realtor, she was great, here, she sends us this, take it. When you have that physical extra piece, the chances of that potential client giving you a call goes way up. And as you guys may or may not know, I think the last time I looked up the stat, it was 77% of people work with the first agent they talk to. So if you can be that agent, right? If you can be the first name that comes up in conversation, it's good as gold. Now, that's the concept in a nutshell. The end of my presentation is just making a little offer. We have a trial offer we do for you guys. Do you guys mind if I take 1 minute to share that?
Go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I want to make sure I'm not going too far over. So anyway, trial mailing, not a free trial, not $0, but it's relationship marketing, which means it's subjective. And so what we want to do is we want to give you an opportunity to send it out once, not commit to anything long-term. You don't have to lock into a contract, and see what sort of feedback your clients give you. And then decide based on that response, okay, Did they like it? Did they not like it? Should I keep working with these guys, right? By working with these guys, I mean us, not your clients. Obviously, you should keep working with your clients.
Yeah, don't need that.
in terms of the dollars for the piece itself, right? This is the best slide to take a screen cap of if you guys just want to save it all, because it has my contact info, and this is all the numbers right there. So the main thing that you guys get is a thank you for having me out to do this presentation. Is we reduce your setup fee from $300, which is what you'd see on the website. If you went online right now and signed up online, that's what you'd see, to only $99, right? $100. We'll round up for the numbers. That goes towards all the legwork on putting together your magazine. We clean and format your photo for print. We do the data entry for your list. We walk you through all the details of what you put together, right? We make your life just as easy as possible. The goal here is to make it very turnkey and simple. So you send us over names and addresses and a photo. We put your magazine together. You figure out front covers and back covers. We go to print. That's what the personal marketing advisor is. You basically have a dedicated customer service person to do as much of this for you as possible. Then when it comes to going to print, we have a deadline every Wednesday. So we are going to print every week. You are not committing to a hard timeline in terms of when you want to send these out. So if you wanted to print in 4 weeks, that's fine. If you wanted to print in 6 weeks, that's fine. The date I want to highlight for you guys on this call is the 19th, 3 weeks from now. May 19th is the last deadline for us to guarantee mailing and delivery before July 4th, before Independence Day, which is a great holiday to be inside the home. Obviously, folks are getting together. Anytime you have a big social group getting together, that's what we want to do. That's a great place to make sure that you have a little bit of shelf life when people start to catch up with one another. Minimum orders, 50 magazines. I know I mentioned that briefly before. So $4 a piece for 50 magazines adds up to just shy of $200. And that is printing, customization, postage. We are mailing it directly out to the addresses you provide. So all in all, just to put a bow on it, $100 up front to get started. Then when you're happy with your magazine, you tell us to send it to the printers at your pace, $200 for 50. It is signed, sealed, delivered out the door. And you are not committed to doing anything long-term. You can then take the opportunity, see what your clients have to say about it. And that's the biggest thing that I want to leave you with. The big success point that I see for folks who try this out and see a really good response from it, use it as a reason to do a second touch. Use it as a reason to pick up the phone, to call 5, maybe 10 people on that list. Say, hey, did you try this out? Did you like the article on so-and-so? Obviously read the magazine first so you kind of know what you're talking about. But it just gives you a excuse, right? Nobody likes calling from out of the blue and saying, hey, do you know anybody who wants to list their home, right? Market's really hot. Those calls feel like sales calls, and they are. So give yourself a reason to just talk to people, to connect with them one-on-one, to remind them that you're important to them and they're important to you. And that'll put you organically in their mind when these opportunities are just sort of coming at them in life. And so that's my time, folks. Thank you guys again so much for having me out and giving me a little bit of window at the end of your meeting. I suppose I'll take a moment and just see, does anybody have questions, or is there anything you'd like me to?
You know, how long have you guys been doing this?
Just shy of 18 years. Yeah. So
well, just so you know, Ming and I don't sell the same way we used to, but we used you guys in the past, and this is one of the things that, you know, for us, we've always been relationship people, and so when our time is different now, but we see how much importance there is on relationships. For us, it's all about the relationships. People do business with the folks that they trust and that they know, and so, you know.
And also, just to the point, magazine was not being used as much, but with COVID, I can tell you people are reading more materials at home. And so therefore, this will be a good piece for you to have.
So again, I'm not, we believe in sharing information and opportunities as we see out there, kind of thing. You know, we have some personal experience using Reminder Media in the past, kind of thing. And so I just wanted to kind of, you know, give you the opportunity and share this out there. So Ray, we sure appreciate you guys coming on today.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for giving me an opportunity to come out and say hi. And in the meantime, if there's anything else I can do for you guys, I will send you over an email, send out to the agents, and we can, you know, take it from there.
Yeah, we'll put the contact info on our Facebook page as well as on like our YouTube channel, the whole 9 yards. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
All right. Well, folks, we sure appreciate y'all's time today. Thank you for joining us. And if we can be of any kind of service, please let us know. We are here to serve you. So call, text, smoke signals, whatever you need, please join us. If you'd like to, after every one of these real estate backstories that we do, if you need some me time, you can go to max1.rocks/chat and you can chat with me or Ming. So hope you guys have a great week. Please
Enjoy your Monday. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Take care.